Hi, my name is Keith Tenzer. I'm the inventor of the Fossul framework, an application backup and recovery solution for containerized applications on Kubernetes. Today I want to give you a quick demonstration of Fossul and show you how to install Fossul from scratch, as well as do a backup and recovery of a Kubernetes application. So with that said, let's jump in. Here I have a Kubernetes cluster, and the first thing we're going to do is install Fossul operator. Kubernetes provides something called the Operator Hub, which is basically like the App Store for applications, and Fossul is integrated into this. So you just simply need to search for Fossul, and you can install it, and we're going to select the defaults, and off it goes. Now, as you can see, it's been installed and is ready for use. So the next thing we're going to do is configure Fossul, go under the Fossul operator here, create Fossul, and select the defaults, and this is going to now configure Fossul, deploy the rest of the Fossul services, and bring Fossul up and running so that we can perform backups and restores on this Kubernetes cluster. This may take a minute or two, but when it's complete, you can go under the workloads here, and you can see all the components for Fossul are running and in a ready state. This means it's completely installed and configured, and we're ready to take our backup. So now we're going to back up a database, and to do that we're going to switch to the project databases where I have deployed a MariaDB database, and we're going to go into installed operator, select our Fossul operator, and the first thing we're going to do is create a backup config. I'm going to select all the defaults and create it. This configures the application inside of Fossul so that it's ready for backup. Now, if for some reason you get an error, the status here condition will change to a red X, and you can also click on the object here to get additional details about it. So now that we have our backup configuration, we can create a backup. So we're going to go create backup. Again, I'm going to select defaults here, and it's going to launch the backup, which launches a backup workflow. This can take somewhere between 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute to perform a backup, depending on what it all needs to do for the application. Again, as with the backup config, the status will show here as a green check or red X if there's an error, and you can also click in the object to get more information. So at this point, our backup has been completed, and now we can perform a restore. So before we do that, we're going to connect to the database, and we're going to create a scenario to actually do our restore. So we've prepared here a database called books, and inside books, we have a table called authors, which has one entry for one author, John Smith. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop the table authors, and this deletes the table and the entry from the database. As you can see, it's gone, which isn't a problem because we have a backup. So now we can do a restore to recover this data. So in order to do that, we're going to go to the installed operators, a Fossul operator. We're going to go to our backups. We're going to select what backup we want to restore from. In this case, we just have the one. And we're going to go inside and we're going to note this workflow ID of 1017. We need to tell the restore which backup we want to use by the ID. So now we're going to go into restore, and we're going to say create restore, and we provide that workflow ID 1017, and we create a restore. Again, this is going to launch process of recovering the database. So if we go into pods here for a database, you can see it's terminating. We're going to shut it down, basically terminate the database pod, or recover the data, and then we start it back up. It's pretty fast, and as you can see, it's already starting up as we speak. So you're going to want to wait for it to get to a running and ready state. As you can see, it's in that state, and now we can connect to the database to actually see if it recovered our table and our entry. So I'm going to connect to the database here, and then we're going to do our select from our authors table, and the table should be back as well as the entry for one author, John Smith. And as you can see, it is, which means we successfully recovered that data, and the restore was in fact successful. This concludes what I wanted to show you. I hope this was interesting, and if you have any feedback or questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.